Welcome to a new video. Let's take a look at some new I don't work here stories. The first story is called Angry Karen Throws Food. So, I went to a Subway to get some lunch and I just ordered my usual sandwich. The place I go to isn't very busy, so the employees mess around in the back. As I was eating my sandwich, I get a tap on the shoulder and a throat clear. I look back, thinking it was an employee. It was an entitled woman. I asked, "Yes?" And she said, "What do you mean, yes? Get off your break and make me a sandwich. I don't work here, sorry." She points at my green shirt. "Stop lying, it is so obvious you work here. And besides, no one else is here." "I am sorry, but I just don't work here." She started to scream. "Yes, you do. Stop being lazy." And then she throws my food across the subway. The workers hear her and come out to investigate. What is going on here? I started to talk but was interrupted by Karen. "He is swearing at me and refusing to make me food. I want him fired." Another worker said, "He doesn't work here, ma'am. He's one of our usuals." I added, "She also threw my food, by the way." They finally noticed the sandwich on the floor. The first worker became angry and said to her, "Ma'am, leave, like now." But Karen demanded her sandwich. So he said, "We're calling the police." As soon as they said that, she ran as fast as she could out of here, trying to avoid trouble. The other worker asked me if I wanted another sandwich, which I gladly took. So, I got my new sandwich and a cookie, and an interesting lunch. The next story is called, Help is Not Good Enough for Karen. I live in a large city and rather than buy wood for my barbecue and fireplace, I watch for tree removal and salvage local material. Our plant waste is removed 1 cubic yard per week, and therefore most homeowners are more than willing to allow others to salvage wood so that it does not harm their grass. It is a win-win situation. At a nearby home, a large tree had been removed which was conveniently on the road leading to my home. The tree was close to 80 feet tall and 4 feet through at the largest point prior to removal. I received permission to take as much as I wanted. Every day, I carried a maul, which is a sledgehammer-axe combination for splitting wood, and would immediately load split pieces. During this work, a wild Karen stopped and asked if the wood was for sale. I advised that it was free. Karen pulled over, exited her vehicle, inspected the pile, eventually admiring my truckload. She wanted me to remove the wood from my car and put it in her vehicle. I said no, I will not do that, and once it was in my truck it wasn't coming out, but I would begin splitting wood and help her load it. But this was apparently not good enough for her. She tried to make me feel bad, but I advised providing any help is more than required. She resorted to rude comments, and I advised she could then split and load her own wood. I thought that was the end when she left angrily, but no. Law enforcement arrived on the scene within 15 minutes, having received a report asking if I were making money. I replied, "No, I'm making chicken and ribs." The peace officers laughed at that. I explained Karen's actions and we laughed a bit more, and they asked when I would barbecue, and I said this weekend, just follow the good smells for a heaping plate. The next story is called, Work Study Got a Karen a New Job. This happened over 10 years ago. As a high schooler, my school made you do a work study day that was super mandatory. I thought I could do a work study at the job I already had in the vet's office. But I found out the day before that that wasn't allowed. Luckily, my dad was able to get me into a shadowing position at some branch of his company. I show up and am put into the care of Veronica, the program director. I'm supposed to shadow her working for the Adult Community Outreach Program. Veronica is immediately very irritated she has to babysit me. She tells me to go clean the bathroom and shower, to which she got a no. Then she leaves me with a questionably safe male client in the lobby, who turned out to be a nice guy. She insulted my intelligence and made me sit in on a caseworker's counseling session with a client. I was basically treated like garbage the entire time. I couldn't figure out why until I asked her to sign my form saying I put up with all this. She said, sure, take it back to school, it's not like you're going to pass anyway. I don't know why they even let you kids in the youth program shadow here, you'll all just end up as adult clients in the end. Then I realized it. She thinks I'm shadowing here as a client of the youth version of this program. As I stand there, dumbfounded, holding my form and pencil out, she glances out the office window as a car pulls up. She said, "Oh great, why is he here?" I asked, "Who?" And she answered, "Sean, the moron of a CEO. He's always on me about something or another. Sean is my dad." I let her drone on and keep insulting my dad alongside all of their youth clients who I'm feeling really sorry for. And I wait until my dad walks past reception and is walking towards her office. I run up to him and gave him a hug. And he said hi back. I turn around to face Veronica with the biggest grin on my face and watch her go ghost white. Dad asked, "Did you have fun today?" But I didn't really answer. My dad thanks Veronica for letting me shadow her and we go to the car. I immediately go full tattletale mode because this woman. The kids from the program are shadowing you because they want to choose a career path to help others like themselves. And she treats them like that? Veronica works at a hotel now. The next story is called The Welcome She Deserved. I always have a little chuckle to myself thinking about how people can be so dense in not realizing that customers aren't staff. But I've never had anyone think that about me until this day in 2015. I'm a British national who has been working in another country for a couple of years. I haven't been home at all during this time, so I saved up all my holiday, okayed it with my bosses, and decided to use it all on coming home from now until the new year. My flight touched down mid-afternoon yesterday at Big International Airport. I had opted to hire a car to use since I'm planning a couple of day trips to visit friends who now live across the country. It just so happened that the company I was going with had an empty-to-empty fuel policy. There was just enough fuel in the car to get you to the nearest petrol station, and you didn't have to bring it back with any specific amount of fuel in the tank. This all begins at the petrol station about 5 minutes down the road from the car hire place. I feel like this isn't a surprise to anyone, but in the UK, on the whole, we fill up our own petrol tanks. People paid to pump your petrol for you are not a thing. If you go into really rural areas with no other petrol stations for miles around, you might get a hand from the one member of staff there, but that's it. This is the same in my country of work also. You mostly pay over the counter in the shop connected to the station, but for some of the chain petrol stations, you can pay at the pump itself via a machine. It just so happens that this petrol station in question had the pay at pump option. The queue for paying behind the counter was massive, so I decided when I pulled in to pay at the pump. There was a bit of a wait to get to a free pump, and while waiting, I noticed out of my window that a car just turning into the petrol station was a hire car by the same company as mine. At the time, it was just something to spot, but I didn't realize that I would be front and center in their crosshairs. I eventually pull into space, get out of the car, and start filling it up. I finish and reach into my pocket to get my card out to pay when there's a tap on my shoulder. I look across and there's an, I would guess, mid-30s woman, standing there looking angry. I should note that I myself am a woman in my late 20s. I was wearing the jogging bottoms and university hoodie that I had traveled in. So I was definitely in no discernible uniform at all. Karen said, "Finally someone appears. Can you tell these other cars to move so we can get into this space next?" I was tired because flying is draining and confused. "No, they were here before you. But they're not with the car hire company. You are because your car says so. Get them to move and then get pumping our gas. I'm not employed by anyone, I just hired the car. Also, no one's going to pull any petrol in your car other than yourself." At this point, I turned away from her so I could pay, and she did not like that. She pulled my arm away from the screen. "I don't want petrol." The fact that she was trying to make fun of my accent was just odd. "I want gas. We were told to fill up here, and if you don't do it, I will drag you to that office and watch as you get fired." Obviously, because she is on the verge of shrieking at me and has created a scene, a member of staff comes over and asks what is happening. I was going to politely explain that the woman just seemed to be a little bit confused over what she's been told by the car hire company. But she gets in there first. "This employee of your partner firm Care Hire Company is terrible, she's refusing to pump my gas." The staff member asked me, "Do you work for the car hire company?" "No, I just hired the car and needed to fill it up, and now I need to pay." Karen started to scream, "No, she works for them. Look at the stickers on her car. They're the same stickers on every hire car." The worker told her, "Madam, I don't think this lady works for the car hire company. I think we just need to let her move on so she can leave and we can keep everyone moving. We also don't have any contracts with the car hire company to begin with." At this point, there are about 8 cars parked behind the car that she was in, since the driver hadn't thought to move into one of the now many free spaces next to the pumps. And many more indicating that they want to enter the petrol station. But Karen seemed oblivious to this. "I want someone to fill up my car now. I don't care if you fill it up with petrol and not gas." She seemed to have no clue that petrol and gasoline are literally the same things. "You're all lucky that I don't film this and stick it on Facebook so you all get shamed and fired." The worker was getting annoyed as there were people shouting and car horns blaring because of the blockage. You're in the wrong country if you think people are going to do that for you. Please tell the driver of your car to move, or we will have to have the car towed for an illegal obstruction. I'm pretty sure this isn't a thing, but I sense the guy was just hedging his bets that Karen had no clue what the law was. She eventually signaled for the driver to move into a space while the staff member apologized profusely for what had happened and offered me anything in the shop on the house. I went home with a tank full of petrol, a deluxe Christmas sandwich, and a good story to tell to my family. That probably wasn't the welcome to the UK that Karen expected, but it was the one she deserved. The last story is called, Maybe She Is Still Looking. So, I had to stop and get breakfast before I went to work and thought I'd put the minimum effort in and go to a convenience store. I parked my car in a front space and shut my car off, and I then unlocked my doors to get out. Well, in the split second in between those actions, my back door flies open, and somebody with bags in their hands starts sitting down. I cannot wait to get home. Now, I've heard the stories about people being rude in this situation, and I didn't want this lady to say that some funny business happened in my car and I go to jail. Or that she runs out of my car screaming and I go to jail that way. So I turn around and politely say, "Ma'am, I'm not your Uber." She finally looks at my face and says, "Oh my God, I am so sorry. I thought you were my husband." I say this a lot and it just came out, not with that attitude, I'm not. Now she's laughing and slightly teary, I assume from embarrassment. "I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry." "It's okay, please don't make a habit of getting into random people's cars. Please look in the window next time." "I'm so sorry, I thought you were my husband." "I get that, but now, please exit my vehicle." Not the most exciting thing in the world, but it was definitely weird. Nice lady, but some say she's still looking for her husband to this very day. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content. Have a great day, bye bye.